They don't fight you with fists, they fight you with confusion. They don't block your path with walls, they block it with illusions. The greatest enemy of your spiritual awakening is not the darkness outside. It's the subtle manipulation that sneaks into your mind, convincing you that your higher consciousness is too much, too strange, too unrealistic. Stupid manipulators know they can't stop chosen ones by force, so they use distraction, doubt, and drama. And if you're not awake to their games, you'll hand them the keys to your own mind. Think about it. Your spiritual awakening is the most powerful shift you'll ever experience. It's when you begin to see through lies, when you begin to rise into higher consciousness, when you begin to realize you're not just surviving in this world, you're shaping it. That kind of clarity terrifies manipulators. They depend on confusion to control others. They depend on guilt to keep people small. They depend on fear to hold you back. So when you start waking up, they panic. They scramble. They pull out every trick in the book to keep you asleep. But here's the twist. The very games they play to hold you back are also the mirrors showing you exactly where your strength is growing. That's why I'm breaking this down for you, so you can see how stupid manipulators try to block your awakening, and more importantly, how you can break free from their grip. They start by planting doubt. Doubt is their favorite weapon. If you begin to talk about your higher purpose, they'll smirk. If you start changing your habits, they'll question you. If you set boundaries, they'll act like you're selfish. They don't attack your awakening directly, because that would reveal their fear of your growth. Instead, they wrap it in sarcasm, in fake concern, in little comments designed to make you second-guess yourself. And if you take the bait, you'll start shrinking your light just to fit back into their comfort zone. Imagine someone climbing out of a dark cave, finally reaching the sunlight, and another person at the bottom yelling, "Hey, come back down, it's dangerous up there." That's exactly what manipulators do. They're not warning you for your safety. They're warning you for their own comfort, because if you rise too high, they lose control over you. And here's the truth. Manipulators can't survive in the light of higher consciousness. Their tricks only work in the shadows of doubt. Another game they play is distraction. Notice how whenever you're focused on growth, some unnecessary drama shows up. That's not a coincidence. Manipulators thrive on stealing your focus. They'll flood you with gossip, with arguments, with endless negativity. They'll create chaos so you can't hear your own inner clarity. Why? Because awakening requires attention. It requires stillness. It requires the ability to listen to yourself. And if they keep you busy running in circles, you'll never have the energy to rise. It's like trying to meditate in the middle of a screaming crowd. The noise isn't dangerous by itself, but it drowns out the silence you need. Manipulators know this, so they keep the noise high. They'll pick fights over nothing. They'll pull you into problems that don't even belong to you. They'll make every little issue urgent, so you never have time to focus on what's truly important. Your awakening, your clarity, your growth. But once you see the game, you can't unsee it. And here's the powerful shift. Every time they try to distract you, you can flip it into a reminder. Their noise becomes your alarm clock. Their chaos becomes proof that you're moving in the right direction. Because manipulators don't waste energy on people going nowhere. They only fight the ones who are rising. Then comes guilt. Guilt is the manipulator's leash. They'll say things like, "You've changed," as if growth is a crime. They'll act like your boundaries are betrayals. They'll accuse you of being selfish, cold, or ungrateful the moment you stop feeding their control. And because you care, because you're compassionate, that guilt can sting. But remember this, guilt is not the voice of your higher self. Guilt is the voice of their fear disguised as morality. Think of guilt like a fake traffic cop, waving you away from the highway of your awakening. It looks official, it feels urgent, but if you check closely, it has no real authority. The only authority is your clarity, and the moment you stop mistaking guilt for guidance, manipulators lose one of their strongest weapons. Here's another trick. They rewrite your reality. They'll twist your words, deny your experiences, and convince you that what you feel isn't real. This is called gaslighting, and it's designed to make you doubt your own mind. Why? Because awakening starts with trusting your inner truth. If they can disconnect you from that truth, they've blocked your path without ever lifting a finger. It's like being in a maze where every time you find the exit, someone secretly changes the walls. You're not lost because you can't find your way. You're lost because the path is being sabotaged. That's what gaslighting does. But here's the breakthrough. Once you realize they're shifting the walls, you stop running. You stand still. You trust your own compass instead of their directions. And that compass will always lead you back to clarity. But perhaps the most dangerous tactic of all is their silence. Manipulators know the power of withholding. When you ask for honesty, they withhold it. When you express your feelings, they go silent. When you draw boundaries, they disappear, hoping you'll come chasing after them. Silence becomes their weapon. Because they know you crave connection, they starve you of it until you bend. But here's the truth. Silence from a manipulator is not a punishment, it's a gift. It shows you exactly where your energy doesn't belong. Imagine pouring water into a cracked glass. No matter how much you give, it will never stay. That's what it's like feeding your energy into manipulators. Their silence is simply the crack revealing itself. And instead of chasing what leaks, you can redirect your water to places that hold and honor it. The deeper truth is this. Manipulators don't block your awakening because they're powerful. They block it because they're scared. Scared of losing control. Scared of being exposed. Scared of being left behind. Every sarcastic comment, every distraction, every guilt trip, every twisted word, it's all fear wearing a mask of confidence. And here's where the transformation happens. Once you see their fear, you stop fearing them. Once you see their games, you stop playing. Once you step fully into your awakening, manipulators no longer look like powerful villains. They look like scared children trying to hold back the tide. And no child can stop the ocean. The awakening is not about fighting them harder, it's about seeing through them clearer. Because clarity is freedom. The moment you recognize the trick, it loses its magic. The moment you recognize the game, it stops being fun for them. And the moment you stand fully in your higher consciousness, no manipulator can touch you. This is why many chosen ones eventually step away from toxic circles. Not because they're antisocial, not because they're arrogant, but because they see the games too clearly to keep pretending. They'd rather walk alone in peace than stay trapped in a crowd built on manipulation. And the irony, the moment you walk away from manipulators, you realize you were never alone. You find people who resonate with your growth. You find connections that don't require you to shrink. You find spaces where your awakening is not mocked, but celebrated. So if you felt like manipulators are blocking your path, understand this. They can only delay what you allow them to delay. They can only distract you if you hand them your focus. They can only guilt you if you accept their definitions. They can only gaslight you if you trade your truth for their lies. The awakening is yours, and no manipulator, no matter how clever, can steal what belongs to you. And here's the final breakthrough. Manipulators are not proof that you're weak. They're proof that you're powerful. No one tries to dim a light that isn't shining. No one tries to block a seed that isn't growing. If you're attracting manipulators, it's because your awakening is visible. It's because your higher consciousness is expanding. It's because you're stepping into the kind of power that makes controllers nervous. That's not something to fear. That's something to celebrate. So the next time someone tries to confuse you, remember, confusion is their weapon, but clarity is your shield. The next time they try to guilt you, remember, guilt is their leash, but freedom is your birthright. The next time they go silent, remember, their silence is not a loss, it's a map pointing you toward better connections. Every game they play can be flipped into fuel for your awakening. Your path is not about outsmarting manipulators. It's about outgrowing them. It's about stepping so fully into your higher self that their tricks become background noise too small to matter. And once you reach that point, you'll look back and realize they never really blocked you. They only delayed the moment you realized how unstoppable you already were. If this connected with you, thank you for watching until the end. You're not just listening to words, you're proving to yourself that your awakening matters. If you felt that shift, if you saw your own story in these truths, then take a second to like this video and subscribe. Not just for me, but for you. So you stay connected to the insights that keep your awakening alive, strong, and unstoppable.